Now Flamingo Land Resort is open once again, anyone can take photos of the Mumbo Jumbo construction site. But only Flamingo Land TV can take you behind the scenes inside the safety fence, which surrounds the world's newest and most exciting record-breaking ride. In this latest video, see close up just how fast construction is taking place, and hear the answers to questions that you sent in about what will be the world's steepest drop roller coaster. Somebody called it Edge Bono on their email. It just said, "Will I die?"
Yes, eventually they will die, like everybody else. Although in that case their music will live on. It's incredibly safe and will take every possible step to ensure people's safety.
We had hundreds of emails sent in, many people asking the same sort of thing. So here's a selection of the things that you want to know about Mumbo Jumbo. All of them answered by Nick Buckley from the Mumbo Jumbo project team.
So about 3.5 G, which is quite substantial. There was a while when coasters were going up near the 4 Gs. People won't remember the Magnum Force, one of our old coasters, which was up near 4 G. Roller coaster manufacturers subsequently have decided that's perhaps pushing the envelope a bit too far. So at 3.5 it's about as intense as you'll likely find these days.
Why do the manufacturers think that's pushing it too far? Is that
just the physical limitations on the body, really, in terms of it's more likely to create guest illness and such like. So that's about as far as they'll go now. Obviously the usual restrictions that would apply to any ride in terms of heart, neck, back problems, pregnancy, etc. The actual height restriction is dictated to us by a third party. So the way that works is that a design review body comes in and assesses the coaster's suitability. Now we know in theory what the manufacturers have placed on the ride is 1.2 metres, 1.21 metres or 4 foot. So that will put it in line with the rides such as the Wild Mouse and the Corkscrew, which is quite good because although it's a very thrilling ride, probably as thrilling as the Kamali or as thrilling as the Velocity, it's going to be a lower height restriction than they are. What I would say is that ultimately it's the design review body's final decision, so we can't guarantee that'll be the height until the commissioning has been done. The nature of the way the harness is designed is it's not an over-the-shoulder restraint as you very often see. The shoulder restraint pulls down, so it will always meet someone's shoulders, which does make it probably more accessible to smaller people than is normally the case. But what it doesn't necessarily mean is that larger guests can always ride. It isn't just over the shoulder, it goes over the shoulder and comes down and fits snugly. So compared to even a ride such as Kamali, you should feel pretty secure, I would think. And certainly the way we're hanging you upside down off a lap bar would probably not be possible. Very, very different to Kamali. I think it will certainly be better in a number of ways. Kamali's a faster ride and a bigger ride, but this has a lot of unique elements that Kamali doesn't, and I think people will be quite surprised at what they see. It's not like the kind of roller coaster that can go anywhere else, whereas Kamali, though a great coaster, is a similar kind of coaster you might ride elsewhere.
Will you be testing this ride out yourself before everybody else goes on?
Absolutely, no doubt. I did the sister ride in Chicago last summer. I was over the moon with that, thought it was fantastic, so I'll be making sure I get a go.
A lot of people in their email are quite interested to know how much of a roller coaster nut you are.
Quite a bit, I suppose. I think in the overall scheme of things, there's people who are far more obsessive than I am, but I do all the parks in the States, and I've been known to drag the girlfriend around Europe on coaster trips as well, so I'm probably worse than most people. Okay, well again, as we've had in the past, I think the S&S marketing people had initially put 120 degrees as the figure onto the other coaster at Indiana Beach, which was the predecessor to ours. That was perhaps a bit of marketing spin, and the engineers had made some alterations and on a check back. Their figure is 111 degrees drop, ours is 112 degrees, which is only by 1 degree the steepest drop in the world.
So even though it's not 120, 112, it's still a record breaker.
That's it, it's still a record breaker.
And that's the final say on it, 112 is the drop.
112 degrees, final answer. Well, yeah, it is a four-seater car, and the way it works is like a wild mouse in terms of it's a multi-car coaster rather than one train which seats a lot of people. We can run lots of small cars all at the same time, so one will be going up the lift, another will be going round, another will be coming back into the station, another will be being loaded up. So we've got 5 cars that, hopefully speaking, will be running nearly all the time, so people are getting on and off all the time.
But I would have thought queues are just unavoidable, aren't they?
Well, there are. It's going to be really popular.
Yeah.
It'll be the biggest ride this summer without a doubt, and yeah, sadly there will be queues, but hey, buy a queue buster.
Okay, now somebody called Edge Bongo. No, let me do that again. It's Bono.
Bongo.
Right. Somebody called Edge Bono on their email. Could be a big fan of you too. We don't know. Just sent this email, and I think at first they were having a bit of a joke with me, but actually there was a serious issue behind it about health and safety on such a ride like this. It just said, "Will I die?"
Well, yes, eventually they will die, like everybody else. Although in their case, their music will live on. The simple answer, again, going back to design review, is it's incredibly safe and will take every possible step to ensure people's safety. The statistic that people like myself always like to trot out is that you're far more likely to be killed driving to the theme park than you are when you're on the theme park. And every possible risk is managed to the maximum extent we can.
So, are there any special health and safety considerations with a roller coaster that is actually turning people upside down and hanging them from their seats then?
Well, in terms of, we can't ever suspend anyone upside down. All the points where it might stop in the event of an emergency would be the right way up. We've got evacuation procedures already outlined from the manufacturers. We'll subsequently put in our own procedures. Yes, there's extensive mechanical checks that will go on a daily basis. Going on in the future, there'll be testing of every possible aspect of the structure in the cars for their security and strength. So realistically, you should be very, very safe. Yeah, there'll be quite a lot of theming on this. Obviously, we've started to plant palm trees already, which you'll see around the site and the entrance to the right. And in addition to the rockwork archway, that's going to be adorned with figures of Mumbo and Jumbo, the two sort of witch doctors who give the ride its name. Addition to that, the station roof's going to look quite exciting as well. It's going to be a big sort of, hard to describe, sort of balloony type canopy, which should look quite good. Yeah, one for the future, really. I couldn't describe it in words. It's around about 30 miles an hour, I believe. It's not as fast as some of our other coasters, but it's not really all about the speed. It's more about the weird ways we're going to hang you in different directions and point it in different directions compared to a normal roller coaster.
And DH, who asked that question, also wanted to know, are the cable cars being removed to make way for...
No, we've made a provision for the cable cars staying. Took a bit of jiggling around, but we've managed to run the queue line underneath the cable cars, so it'll still be operational this year.
So was that quite a squeeze then, was it?
It was a bit tight, yeah. We had to think a bit carefully about how we're designing it, but once we decided we were going to go from the Kamali Viewing Plaza as the entrance rather than from the seaside area, we then had to come up with a way of going underneath the cable cars, which we've done. We've sort of made a wooden framework tunnel which the guests will go underneath on the way onto the ride. The opening day will be July the 3rd. That's the day that Guinness World Records will be here, hopefully to hand over the certificate, and all will be well. We'd like to think we'll get the construction work done a little before that, so we'll be able to do plenty of tests and what have you, but official opening day for the public, July the 3rd.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, just how excited are you about it?
Or 11.
Nick Buckley, thank you very much.